Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to the Blockjakarta Digital 2020 conference. I welcome you all and thank you so much for your support and participating on the conference today. It is indeed a very diverse times for all of us here around the world, and COVID has been taken us into a gridlock. But we have time to bring forward a conference which will be exciting for you. We have gathered about 34 good speakers from all around the world, and I hope you have a great time. So, without further ado, I would like to first invite Mr. Oscar Darmawan, who is the founder and CEO of Indodax, Indonesia's leading crypto exchange. Oscar has been involved in the IT industry for military and corporate for more than 12 years now. Acting as the CEO and the co-founder of Indodax Digital Exchange, he facilitates trading and crypto assets for more than 2 million members in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Oscar Darmawan, founder and CEO of Indodax. Hello, Oscar.
Hello, Savas. Hi.
Hi, good. So we start the first session with you. Please take it, and as soon as finished, just let me know. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Oscar Darmawan.
Hello, everyone. Please let me introduce myself. My name is Oscar Darmawan. I'm a founder and CEO of Indodax. Today, we will talk about Indonesia demographic in terms of crypto. So let me share you my screen to show the presentation. Yeah. So I would like to explain about the crypto asset, how in Indonesia community actually accepting crypto asset. So this day Indonesia actually one of the hot place in terms of number of community who trade on the crypto, and Indodax as one of the largest crypto exchange in Indonesia, we believe that is one of our tasks. Our responsible is to educating the people, especially about the blockchain and the crypto asset. And other than that, we believe one of our mission is helping people, especially Indonesian welfare and digital literacy through our platform in Indodax. And we try to give education to the people by providing data and factual data about crypto, especially in terms of how crypto actually providing as a superior investment compared with other instruments. Before we explain you about what Indodax doing, maybe I try to explain the situation in Indonesia, especially in the last 2 years. Since 2018, actually a lot of happening in Indonesia community, especially after the government issue a statement that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is considered as commodity, even though Central Bank of Indonesia to mention that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency will not accepted as currency. So in Indonesia, basically, crypto is more like a crypto asset. Our regulation allow people to own Bitcoin, do transaction of Bitcoin, and trade them as an asset. And even our ex-Ministry of Trade create a regulation where actually crypto can be traded as an asset. And in the 2018, we also, together with other companies, we create one association called Blockchain Indonesia Association that to have communication with the government through association. And in the 2018, the crypto asset become quite widely popular in Indonesia, especially because of the legal status already clear in Indonesia market. And so in the summarize, in Indonesia, basically crypto is classified as commodity and is backed by government regulation. But many of the traders basically is as speculators. Many of them is not engineer yet, but in Indodax alone, we have about 2 million registered members. And in terms of literacy, they know blockchain about low to medium level. And until now, in Indonesia, still quite high percentage of unbanked people. So many people use crypto particularly to connect, to help them to connect with the financial sector. But still have a lot of media and regulator that misunderstanding about the crypto. But the situation of Indonesia is improving and getting better and better, especially since 2018 to 2020. And in terms of blockchain implementation, in Indodax, we try to push the blockchain implementation in many sectors. And this day, we are partnership and collaborate with the Blockchain Shoe as a blockchain consulting company to help Indonesia company to implement blockchain system. Basically, to make any process to become more efficient and more transparent to help push Indonesian economy.
Correct. उसको full screen करो.
Some last data in 2020. If we something interesting actually happened in this 2020.
Okay.
In terms of Indonesia, comparing with the Indonesia stock market, actually Bitcoin price and crypto price is quite positive compared with the Indonesia stock market. That's why it helped many people that invest in the crypto, especially the end of 2019 to early 2020, to get quite a lot of profit and give quite a lot of positive encouragement to the Indonesia crypto ecosystem. Comparing with the last year performance for the whole 2019, Bitcoin still quite strong compared with other instrument investment. And in terms of number of ownership of cryptocurrency, Indonesia is a top 10 country that own the largest crypto in terms of the population. About 11% of internet users in Indonesia own crypto. So we believe that in terms of Southeast Asia will slowly become the most important part of where the crypto being used. As you can see in the chart, Philippines, Thailand, Indonesia, these three Southeast Asia countries in the top 10, including Malaysia, where the crypto ecosystem growing. And in terms of number of share of population, Indonesia have a lot of population. So even though our members now is 2 million more people, we believe that our ecosystem will keep growing and growing. And Indodax, as a pioneer of blockchain startup in Southeast Asia, we always try to give and to provide more information about crypto and blockchain in Indonesia market. We become the solution where Indonesia population can easily to buy and sell any crypto, and to provide company with a blockchain solution when they ask to, and we try to do our best as our responsibility to the Indonesia crypto ecosystem. In Indonesia, we also have a product called Indodax Academy, where we try to educate people through video, through podcasts, and even through article about what is blockchain, what is crypto, to improve the digital financial literacy in Indonesia, and all resources we give it to the public for free. We make the content every few days. We have a new content ready in our Indodax.academy to help Indonesia ecosystem to know more about this crypto space. And we also quite active in many events, and together with the Association of Blockchain Indonesia, we try to do a lot of events. And thank you for Black Arrow to always support us, so we can give education not only through online but also through offline. And we can see from our Indodax Academy, for every video that we post, there are more than a few thousands of people watching our video. That means many of them actually want to know more about this crypto ecosystem. So even though we are Indonesia Exchange, we try to make our video as neutral as possible. We're not talking about marketing our products, but we're talking about the crypto itself. What is Bitcoin? How Bitcoin being used? How the blockchain actually will change the economy? How and why the crypto asset is something that will revolutionize the internet industry. So I think that's all my presentation. I would like to thank you so much for everyone to attending this event. I hope this can help Indonesia ecosystem to know more about crypto ecosystem and blockchain. And if you guys want to know more about Indodax Academy, you can also access our website through indodax.academy or follow all our social media channel. Thank you so much.
Hello, thank you very much, Pa Oscar. That was a very interesting first session. It is always good to know the statistics of Indonesia from an expert coming like you, because you have all the data and all the analysis. So thank you so much, Pa Oscar, for your session. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to call Mr. Christian Shea. Mr. Christian is the CEO of Tokenomics. It's a leading and a very emerging blockchain and token space company. So please welcome Mr. Christian Shea from Tokenomics. He's joining us today from Singapore. Mr. Christian?
Hello, everyone. Thanks for the introduction, and thanks, Oscar, for the first presentation. I'm very happy to be here today. I think due to this pandemic, we have no choice but stay at our comfortable home to talk to you. And I think this is also a good time to use the technology that is available that built for us. So I think hope everyone stays safe. So I'll share with my presentation just talking about beyond Bitcoin. So I think Oscar talked about how the blockchain space has developed in Indonesia and how much interest has been generated in the Bitcoin space. I just want to take one step further to talk about the blockchain innovation that happens in the past 10 years. And what are something that worth paying attention to in addition to Bitcoin? So hopefully, as an innovation partner of Indodax, we Tokenomics, hopefully you're familiar with our name by now. We're paying extra attention to the development of blockchain space, and we're also building the product to make sure that our platform offers the largest crypto innovation and the latest application to our users. So this has been our goal for the past 2 years. So I want to talk about like 8 different innovations in the crypto space. First one, I think we can talk about this Bitcoin. Of course, obviously, without this invention by Satoshi Nakamoto 11 years ago, we wouldn't be able to gather here today. And since the launch of the Bitcoin network, more and more people are talking about it, participating in it, owning it, trading it, mining it, investing in it. So at this point, we can comfortably proclaim that most people in the world with internet connection know about Bitcoin. So we can see that Bitcoin is kind of going mainstream. And we can also see in this chart by Google Trends, showing that in the past 5 years, a lot of people in the Africa region has shown interest in Bitcoin, maybe because of their weak currency or the large size population. And we can see the list followed by some European countries, Singapore, Australia, and Canada is also on the list. So perhaps this is the reason why Binance, the largest exchange in the world, is focusing a lot of their efforts in Africa. So, and also I think in the past 10 years, the Bitcoin protocol, I like to compare it as a TCP/IP of value transfer, has become a very secure and distributed network. And Bitcoin itself become a very good store of value, so which is going to play a major role in our day-to-day lives going forward. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is smart contract. So when we talk about this topic, people intuitively will think about Ethereum, which is trying to solve the problem that Bitcoin is not solving, whether it be faster speed, more energy efficient consensus algorithm, programmable money with smart contract built in, all those kind of different things. So since then, there's also more than a dozen different protocols launching, trying to solve different problems, mostly in scalability. We also see interoperable blockchain coming out, like Polkadot, Cosmos. So a lot of exciting things coming up. And in the past 2 years, there's also a decentralized finance, we call it DeFi, getting more popular. So these kind of development are very essential for us to change our current infrastructure, finance infrastructure, for the better, for a more efficient alternative. But I have to say, a lot of these projects are still in the experiment phase. So it would take longer time to observe the development and decide which protocol is the best for a certain sector. So this space, in my opinion, is still nascent and it's mostly composed of smart software engineers and developers. So we can actually take a longer view in this sector. The third thing I want to talk about is payment, right? So when Satoshi first published the Bitcoin white paper, we know that he called it a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. So Bitcoin is supposed to mint for payment. But of course, the limitation is that Bitcoin network cannot compete with Visa and MasterCard, which they use centralized clearing system to stay highly efficient. Now, a decentralized system is secure, but it's not as efficient. So there's a lot of new startup working on the payment sector, including a cryptocurrency project like Bitcoin Cash or Litecoin, faster confirmation speed. But in my opinion, also the fintech development for payment is already a well built up infrastructure. So in addition to a credit card we use like Visa Masters, we have a lot of payment apps. Like here we have Gojek, Grab. In China, we have Alipay, WeChat Pay. In the US, we have Venmo, Revolut, and PayPal, and all those kind of things. So these create a very competitive environment for new payment providers, especially for crypto payment providers. So I think the transaction is quite small. And also, people need to have crypto first in order to spend crypto, right? So I think we're still at the phase of people acquiring crypto. So this development adoption is also longer term. But initially, Bitcoin is used by criminals and dark market participants. So out of necessity, because it's too easy to get caught using your bank account. But you see on the chart on the top right, this is a chart by Chainalysis. Over the past 5 to 6 years, the crypto transaction in the darknet has been decreased significantly because people realize that those transactions are actually traceable. So, so the use case of payment in remittance in the dark market it's also decreasing. Now, however, the use of crypto in remittance market is a very valid proposition. So Ripple seems to be the leader in this sector. We can see that the bottom left chart, that Bitso, one of the partner exchange in Mexico, has processed about 4.3 billion peso in the month of April. It's about 200 million US dollars. They partner with Ripple to do remittance services. So I think crypto is going to play a major role in cross-border remittance. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is stablecoin. When stablecoin first came out, so a lot of people are very puzzled. Why do we need stablecoin? Why do we need a crypto that function like fiat? Now, isn't the purpose of using crypto is to take people away from using fiat currency? And it turns out that stablecoin is a great invention to serve as a proxy of the fiat currency, because it can move very fast without going in and out of traditional financial institutions. And usually when you go in and out of banking sectors, they ask a lot of questions and clearing system takes time. So therefore, this crypto stablecoin makes it very excellent settlement currency between crypto trades. And recently, the trading volume of USDT, which is Tether, exceeded the trading volume of Bitcoin. So from the screenshot I took yesterday, the daily trading volume on USDT alone is about 23 billion. It's a huge number. And this makes Tether the largest stablecoin in the world, about 9.6 billion market cap, and also has over 90% of shares of stablecoin traded. Of course, there's more than one option here. We can have USDC, we have GUSD, Paxo, and some of the stablecoins are even regulated and approved to be used as medium of exchange by authorities. And central banks in the world also talk about issuing digital currencies in different countries. And of course, these are like different than cryptocurrencies, right? Because they are centralized. But I think it will pave the way for people to the concept of digital money and also use crypto more easily in the future. So those are good things. And also want to highlight that Facebook has launched this Libra project, and it was all of a sudden be scrutinized by all sorts of government in the world. So it ditched the name of Libra, but it didn't ditch the project. It's renamed as Novi. So it's due to launch in November this year. So if Facebook is a country, it's the largest in the world by having about 2.8 billion active users, so more than in China and India combined. So this will be a significant impact. All of a sudden, people cross-border can transfer money using their phones. And this will be a very efficient, revolutionary money transfer cross-border mechanism. So I think we're very excited about this development. Now, I think let's move on to this fifth innovation. Let's talk about lending. So lending is a core banking function, right? Bank also make a lot of loans, but I think nowadays there's a lot of shadow banks coming out as an alternative to banking system. A lot of big money managers are doing lending themselves. So in the crypto world, the innovation is trying to create a newly decentralized banking system. We mentioned about DeFi earlier, right? So whenever they're traders, they're speculators, like Oscar mentioned, there's a lot of speculators in Bitcoin space, and speculators like to trade with leverage. So there's a huge market for lending. Now, for the decentralized lending space, if we trace it coming out probably late part of 2017, the total loans originated by loanscan.io, the stats shows about 2.3 billion. And there's also centralized lending platforms. So I just take the number from Genesis Capital, one of the largest centralized lending platform. Their cumulative loan originations about 4.2 billion so far. So I think the entire market combined roughly about 10 billion. I think it's not a small number. So and I think a lot of the borrowing is happening in Bitcoin and also USDT, the USD stablecoin crypto. And then the trend is US dollar crypto has been growing in number of shares versus the Bitcoin. So I think this will be a very interesting space to watch because if you hold crypto, you can lend it out and make some yield. So it's good news for the crypto holders. Then lastly, I want to talk about investments, right? So in crypto, I think people are already kind of familiar with Bitcoin, and a lot of large institutions are already moving out to buy Bitcoin as alternative assets, right? We look at Fidelity, we can look at a lot of university endowments. And Fidelity actually did a survey of 800 institutional investors outside of consider about digital asset. And then with their latest finding is that 36% of them already have exposure in digital asset. That's a great number. And in total asset management by third-party managers, it's roughly estimated about 19 billion. And I think recently, if you followed news, you heard about Paul Tudor Jones is one of the largest macro hedge fund manager, is using Bitcoin as a hedge. So I think that will attract a lot of institutional adoptions. And also we look at Charles Schwab's, right? So it's the largest, one of the discount equity broker in the US. They published a report recently segmenting different buying groups, whether it be millennials, Gen X, baby boomers, what kind of stock portfolio they're holding. And in the millennial sector, they found Bitcoin is ranked number 5. This is through a Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Of course, Bitcoin is traded at premium there, but it's easier to buy Bitcoin there if you have a stock brokerage account. So I think cryptocurrency already becoming an asset class, and that is already inevitable. And you can look at because COVID-19, I think a lot of business shutting down, and then economies and taking the turmoil. But in this type of environment, Bitcoin thrives. So year to date to 2020, Bitcoin's up close to 30%, while gold is up 12%, and other things is falling apart. So I think investment, definitely a very interesting space to watch. Now let's talk about derivatives, right? So this is a very interesting topic. And most of the use cases are with institutional investors. We know that when Bitcoin is first regulated in the US, it's classified as a commodity. Therefore, it's regulated by the CFTC. This is the same thing in many countries, including Indonesia. So when it comes to commodities, whether it be soft commodity like agriculture product or hard commodity like minerals or precious metals like gold or silver, there's always the futures market for those commodities. And in the traditional market, the futures volume always larger than spot. And the spot market price tend to follow the future price indications. But right now, I think the futures volume is catching up. The research analysis from skew.com published daily information about CME's Bitcoin futures and options. So we can see in the chart, like after Bitcoin halving, the open interest on Bitcoin is really high. It's accumulated over $1 billion. So this space is very interesting to watch. I think there's a lot of speculations going on. I think the price discovery may be shift from spot to future. So we have to watch this space very closely. So this is also another innovation that is coming. And we have a lot of big players out there. They're big, Bagcat, CME, LedgerX, OKX, and Kraken, so forth, and BMX. So, and then the last innovation we'll talk about is tokenization, right? ICO, the hype is dead, but I think the idea is still there, right? So in the past few years, I think ICO, this is from ICObench.com. Basically, they surveyed about 5,725 ICOs launched in 25 industries. Estimated raised about $65 billion. It's a huge number. And we can see a lot of tokenization projects still launching kind of a platform and cryptocurrency project. But a lot of tokens can be applied into business services, loyalty points, tourism, other software, big data, media, and hospitality, even energy. So those applications hasn't really realized. So I think tokenization is the key of the future. So these kind of innovation, I just summarize it. There are 8 innovation of them, from Bitcoin to smart contract, to payment, to stablecoin, and to lending, to investment, and derivatives and tokenization. And Tokenomics is an innovation partner of Indodax. We're trying to select the best product to put on our platform. So in the past, we've been working on Bitcoin. We've been working on stablecoin. Now we have a spot exchange. We also just launched our derivative exchange. And we are also working, we already have the tokenization platform and working on our investment platform. So these kind of things are in the pipeline. I just want to take this opportunity to thank everyone to participate in Tokenomics, and also shared my observation of the blockchain innovation. So hopefully this gives you a quick snapshot of what's going on. And then I think there's so many things to stay excited about. Thank you.
Hello, Christian. Thank you so much for your presentation. So now we would like to move on to our first panel session of the day, which is the government panel session. And for that, I would like to invite Mr. Muhammad Neel Al-Hilal. Mr. Mohammed is the Director for Applications and Governance of Digital Economy at the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy. Our second panelist today is Colonel Dr. Erwin Sumari. He is the Senior Officer Communications and Electronics at the Indonesian Air Force, Defense, and at the University of Politik Negara Malang. Our third panelist is Mr. Dharmayuga Harmansya. He is the head of the Center for Domestic Trade Studies, Trade Research and Development Agency at the Ministry of Trade. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to really give a round of applause to all our senior government panelists who have taken out their time to come